Okay, so it seems that there's been even more updates to do with the wall and everything that's going on with Filian. Now, if you guys don't know, obviously Filian is on hiatus at the moment and is currently on a 6-month or so break. It might even be longer by now. And many people have been wondering where she's at and what she's kind of doing with the whole ARG stuff. She set up an ARG, which kind of, a lot of people would say failed. And now it seems like another thing has popped up, which is called the wall. Now, this obviously is kind of like an r/place type thing. If you guys ever saw that over on Reddit, it's essentially you can add your own little like pixels or little bits of like spray paint or whatever you want to call it, and create your own designs, right? And some communities obviously come together and make their own big things, right? Whether it's about Filian or whether it's about Neurosama, for example, all of them come together to create their own big thing, right? And this has been pretty big. This came after obviously the countdown, which was so popular among many people. Essentially there's a countdown and it said phase 1 the wall, and so this is only phase 1 of Filian's kind of return, right? Which many people are kind of speculating that this is just going to be a debut, right? Or this, I say just going to be, it is going to be a debut, sorry. And that some people also think maybe some other stuff could come alongside it as well, due to how big this announcement is, because obviously a lot of VTubers debut, right? It happens quite a lot, or re-debut, or whatever you want to call it. And people tend to not really make a big spectacle out of it, whereas this one is quite a big deal, right? A lot of people have been following it, and there's a lot behind this, a lot put into it, which makes me think that there is going to be a little bit more than just a debut, because well, why would we have all of this, right? Many VTubers, as I said, debut all the time. Why is this one different? Well, there could be something else attached to it, right? But one of the main things I wanted to talk about was not so much the wall part of this, but also the other part, which is down below, which obviously they say Filian is lost here. And then, of course, even further below, if we keep going, is the Signal archive, where people can submit images and submit areas that they have seen that Filian is lost has popped up. Now, again, there's been many images here. For example, Bryce up wearing a shirt that says Filian is lost. And then also we've got all of the things that we've covered over the past couple of weeks or so. For example, the New York subway, right? Many people were confused whether this was to do with Filian or not. Now, again, in terms of this website, no one actually knows whether this is to do with Filian or not. Again, my biggest guess would be yes, because this was kind of advertised over at not Gamescom, Dokumi. Of course, that was all a big thing. But again, some people were still kind of skeptical. But of course, that would kind of suggest that this graffiti thing was something to do with Filian, right? And of course, as well, we had like the Japanese creator. They were wearing one. Or someone was wearing one in their story, sorry. There's also, one at Dokumi. There's also the mayor of Toronto. And these are some of the new ones that popped up. And there's also some that I haven't seen before, right? Obviously, the mayor of Toronto one we've seen. The one at Dokumi, again, we have seen. But of course, there's some, for example, like at Clutch Kickback, Clutch Kickback, which essentially, it seems like a Japanese drifting, place. And again, they also have a cone there, which says Filian is lost, which again is kind of hard to see, but it does say it there. And also, of course, we have the graffiti over in LA, which again, as I said before, I kind of thought it looked like AI or whatever, but I'm not too sure, because obviously the accounts that it came from, I couldn't find anywhere, the sources of these videos, right? But for some reason they still popped up, right? If you guys remember, like we looked up the video source that they put at the bottom of this video here. It's like right below me here, this name. We searched it up, right? And there was no account, and there was no account with this video on it, right? Nobody knows where this come from. And the same with like Otaku Newsbeat or whatever you call it here. There wasn't any, I couldn't find anything that would show me, hey, this is what it is. So again, it was very confusing, but it still made its way here, right? And maybe they are just collecting anything and everything that they do find, right? And maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be to do with something that, maybe they set up. Graffiti found on 100-year-old wall art, as well as Filian is lost t-shirt worn by Kazutori on 88 on Instagram. Very interesting, right? Of course, another poster of Dokumi, Brain Dead Fantasy Fest, which also was there. I'm pretty sure it caused a little bit of drama at the time as well. And of course as well, Big Soul graffiti artist Dasol is here. Obviously it seems like they have been making one, and yeah, it says Filian is lost above my head here. That's from the same one, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it looks the same. And of course the last one down here, Filianislost t-shirt, Tsukuba circuit in Shimotsuma, Japan. So again, interesting, right? And obviously this has reached the end, and people can still put in their own data and stuff. So a lot of this, I think, is coming from people that submit forms. So you essentially submit a form as a fan of, hey, I found this, and then I think the website actually puts it up, which I think is very interesting. And of course, many people have been contributing to it, which, you know, is pretty cool, because it gives you now a kind of centralized area of different kind of clues and stuff that people have been looking at. Now, again, do I think these clues have anything to do with each other? Like, is there going to be, you know, some correlation between the fact that they've been at Dusseldorf and Japan and LA? I don't think so. I think this is literally just the fact that they are, you know, making it public, right? They just want it to be in as many places as possible, and that's it. I don't think there's any significance as to the places, as to, you know, where this is being shown and whatever. I'm not sure. But again, I just don't think they do have any correlation. I think it is literally just the fact of people all over the world wearing Filianislost t-shirts, and that's about it, right? Or doing Filianislost posters or whatever. Literally anything to do with it that people have been posting, right? So again, I don't know. I feel like, you know, these would have been, though, kind of organized by either her or a team or whatever, especially with some of the connections. I feel like she probably has some of the connections with these people. For example, like Bryce Up, I would imagine that she knows Bryce Up. I know she went to like Austin at one point, so I would assume that, you know, she knows him, and potentially even you know, he's in on it, right? I don't know, or maybe they're just wearing a random shirt that they found on that day, right? But I do find it very interesting. I do find it very interesting that all of these images from all of these different locations have, you know, made their way there. But it kind of shows you how big this has really gotten now. And maybe there is going to be more images added to this in the future, because as I said, there's some here that I haven't seen before. Like this graffiti one I haven't seen before. The Tsukuba circuit, haven't seen that before. I haven't seen the one on Kazutori's Instagram. So again, those are the main ones I haven't seen. Oh, and the drifting one. But all these other ones I think I've seen before somewhere on like Reddit or you know, Twitter, anywhere like that. So it is interesting, right? And we'll have to see whether this does actually mean anything, or if it is just something to kind of, you know, it's kind of like a publicity stunt type thing, where it just pops up and you know, it's just part of like people asking where she is, right? But yeah, as I said, in terms of the wall though, things are going pretty good. You know, it seems like a lot of communities are getting in on it and making their own great creations, including Pregnant Sonic and Pregnant Filian, which is crazy. So I don't know what's happened with that. Obviously, it seems that Osu's taking over, which I think is pretty crazy, as well as there seems to be a lot of Neurosama posts as well. Neurosama seems to be taking over once again. For example, this one too. You know, that's cool. So yeah, obviously that's really, really cool to see, and hopefully it does continue to grow. And hey, maybe there will be an expansion of this at some point soon. We'll have to see whether that changes or not. But yeah, I mean, that's all there is for this website, for this kind of situation so far. Just kind of wanted to give you a little bit of an update on the update of the website, because I thought it was pretty interesting. But if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameSubs, use my code Kaza, get 10% off again. They've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.